Rosemary, I did
Continue
want
the nerd rage.
Yeah, the nerd rage. Love my nerd rage. Rosemary, I wanted to ask you back to the reboot conversation. You were talking about Star Trek being rebooted and how that applies to the new Star Wars. I'm curious if you saw that with Doctor Who, that 2005, and just to recap, for those who don't know Doctor Who, shame on you. The first thing is it ended with a seventh regeneration with Sylvester McCoy back in the 80s. And then there was a break, and then there was the 8th regeneration. You saw Dr. 7 regenerate to Dr. 8 with Paul McGann in the movie made by Americans. And then in 2005, Doctor Who returned with Christopher Eccleston. Would you call that a reboot?
I think it was a reboot, but in many ways, it held so true. I mean, the writers were so respectful of the Doctors that had come before, of the way it was written before. I mean, the writers are so good and so sharp, and it's written, individual one is written so like a movie, and with the production values of a movie, and each one is, the story is so complete within each one. And I remember hearing an American actor say when he'd watch one, well, you've got more story in like half an hour of Doctor Who than we normally have in like 3 or 4.
Yes.
Which kind of is how it works.
Very much. I'm not sure how many people know this, so I'm going to go over it very, very quickly. In American writers, we have a group, we have usually 2 people only, partner up and they'll write. And they will write the entire series, from beginning to end. There's a writer group, 2 people, who did that 70s show. They did Third Rock from the Sun, and they are the writers from day 1 to day 2. There's no one else who did those. But in English culture, and this is one of the things I love from BBC, is it was a privilege to be selected as a writer. And every arc was done by a different writer. Terry Nation, of course, with his Daleks. But Douglas Adams was given the pen at one point. You had over, we had over 40 writers doing Doctor Who. And the writer would come in, they would do an arc. And sometimes the arc would be 3 episodes. I think the shortest was 1 arc of 2 episodes. But it was usually 3, 5, or 7 episodes. One went 14 episodes long, which was insane. And then they would bring in another pair. Somebody else would come in. And Terry Nation, every time he made an appearance, you saw a Dalek. And I remember sitting here, Terry Nation's writing this one. You get up there and you watch. Terry Nation was amazing. Every time he came on, you knew it was going to be a good episode. Douglas Adams, whoa. Douglas Adams felt like Douglas Adams. I remember, and this is amazing, when Douglas Adams made his appearance in Doctor Who, it was for the pirates, space pirates. When you see the space pirates, they are the Borg. They are the Borg. They look like the Borg. They are the Borg. And it was just amazing. So now with 2005 and on, oh, help me here, Stephen Moffat. Stephen Moffat came in, and when did he make his appearance? Do you know, Rosemary?
No, I don't know.
He came in and he wrote Matt Smith's character. And that's all he did. They took very much the American approach with script writing, where Stephen Moffat did all of it. And that is something that I miss from Classic Who, because Classic Who, it was a gamble. It really brought in for a lot of different personality, a lot of writing styles, a lot of story. In some episodes, we're going to when an episode stunk, the whole arc stunk. And Ace with the Paradise Towers. That was painful. Same thing with the Zarbi episode, painful to get through. And when I got to the point when you saw those writers, you went, oh no, nothing again. But then you were reprieved with Terry Nation or Douglas Adams coming in, and you knew what to expect. So today, if Stephen Moffat stunk, you were in for a very long haul. But so that's something that's really different. So as far as the reboot, for me, it's not a reboot. It very much is continuation part 2. For me, that's the experience that I get with that. So,
but you see, Doctor Who, I mean, based on the little bit I've seen and the little bit I've heard, opens itself up to that because you have the regenerations. You have
Oh,
the
yes.
you have the you can continue the story any way you want. The problem with like the reboot of Star Trek and even Star Wars is you've got all this canon,
Yeah.
and you don't have, you got the WTF moments.
Yeah. No, very much.
You got the WTF moments in, why did they do it this way? Why did they, here's how the canon predicted it, and here's how they did it on the screen.
Mhm.
Where's the balance? Where's the explanation? Now, I mean, I actually liked some of the first generations movies. I didn't like the last two, but I liked the first one. Everybody thought First Contact was a flop.
I loved First Contact.
I love First Contact, and except for the part of Kirk dying twice, which he should have died only once, at the beginning of the show as a hero, I kind of like Generations,
Yeah.
But, to me, Star Trek 4 is going to always be the classic. Star Trek 4 is going to be the one that, set the standard for the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one, you got the humor, but you got the science fiction, you got the relatability, you got the issue of the whales.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
you got everything that was Star Trek in 4.
Mhm.
Star Trek 2 and 3, same thing. You got everything that was Star Trek. And then 5 was okay. 5 was decent. It was just kind of a little bit, I think there were more politics involved in it than necessary, because that's when the writer's strike was happening. That was when, they gave the captain his place, but they really didn't support him, 6, decent. I mean, 6 was, undiscovered country. It was kind of, it was bittersweet because of the,
You have a lot of respect from me right now because you can name all of these in chronological order. I can name the whale one, Insurrection.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Wrath of
No,
Khan.
it's the motion picture, Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home, The Final Frontier.
You are my hero.
The Undiscovered Country, First Contact, Generations, and then the last two, I think it's Insurrection and I forgot the last two.
And then the Borg one. There's the one with the Borg. That's how.
Right. Well, that's First Contact.
Oh,
That's First
really?
Contact.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
that's where the Queen of the Borg was.
Okay.
But you can see, I really don't know the last two, because it's like, okay, that's when the money making started happening.
Yeah.
That's when the thing, and it's kind of scary that I can rattle off. You name a character or you name a situation in the original series, I could probably rattle it off. Same thing with Next Generation, Enterprise, Voyager, and DS9, not so much. But for somebody who's trying to write their own science fiction, it's like, how do you separate the Trek, the Trek fan from the science fiction writer, so they're not all thrown together, especially when the science fiction writer is writing a multi-galaxy situation, and they don't want Paramount on their ass.
Right.
For copyright infringement when there is no copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, we're going to take a
So,
short break after these messages. Just